Welcome to Bears on Tap, hosted by Quentin Q. Crisco, Samir Patel, Sonny Verma, and the one and only Ron Luce, bringing you all the news, analysis, and opinions on the charter franchise, Chicago Bears.
And welcome back to another episode of Bears on Tap. My name is Quentin Crisco. I am joined by Mr. Ron Luce. Ron, how are you doing this evening?
Hugh, I'm doing well, man. I'm excited that we're back talking some level of football. I miss it dearly already, and I can't wait to see what the Bears do this offseason. So I'm ready to dive in. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. You know, tonight, Ron, we have a fun exercise lined up here where we're doing a mock off season for the Bears. We're using this spreadsheet, which you can go find over at ontapsportsnet.com. You can do this whole exercise yourself. It's linked in the YouTube description down below. And if you can't find it, just shoot me a DM. I'll send it to you. But we're going to go through this project that we do every year over here. And so the first step here is usually to go through cuts on the roster and stuff along those lines. Ron, I think we just get some of the big ones out of the way, and then we come back to it later to see we're not going to get down to our final 51 before free agency or anything.
No, of course not. Of course not. I agree wholeheartedly.
Okay, so some of the obvious ones here, not much at cornerback. I think that's pretty locked in. I think the Bears are going to look at a settlement for Deo, and I have to imagine it's going to be somewhat in line with a post 6-1. A post 6-1 or not trade. I'm sorry, cut. I was like 16 million. Where'd that come from? Yeah, so that saves them like $3 million on the cap. Like I have to imagine whatever settlement they come to is going to figure out somewhere around that number. Because I can't really see how he stays on this roster considering the rehab is going to take most of the season.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think that's something that maybe people are missing because you see some of the Dio hype videos right on the internet, and maybe he has a role or maybe he can do this in this offense and it's on this defense, and it's like we don't even know what his status is health wise, and if it really is that bad. I wonder if that 3 is maybe a little closer to like 5 if it's an injury settlement. But that being said, like that's one of those contracts, man, that I think at the time everybody was like, what the fuck are the Bears doing? And then now I think everybody's really like, hey, we were kind of right.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think it was unfair because he was hurt, right? Like, I think if we had a full season to really compare and see what he did and then make our assessments, but even when he was healthy, I don't think he made enough of a difference, to your point, to be worth $20.5 million against this cap. So that's a great point. Honestly, I haven't even seen a lot of discussion about an injury settlement with Dio. So I'm glad you brought it up because I think you're right. I think that's a very real possibility.
Yeah. And then I think that's it to really hit an edge. I think the rest of that's kind of going to stay the way it is. At linebacker, I figure Tremaine Edmonds is gone. That one's a pretty easy one with the
that's a no-brainer.
Million saved. If we cut TJ Edwards, it costs us against the cap.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a post 6-1, but like honestly, we're not saving anything. I'm just gonna keep him active for now and figure the rest out later because it doesn't save us anything to make that move right now. Along the O line, we're pretty locked in.
How good does that feel, Q?
It's nice. It's nice.
You and I did this exercise 2 years in a row, and we're like bashing our head off the wall on how to make the O line better.
Yeah,
and now we don't have to. God,
now,
is it nice.
I wonder about Karan if that saves anything. Like, that saves $1 million. Again, I don't think that's worth putting in there right now. So I'm not sure where he's like what his status is going to be this coming year. And then Swift is an interesting one.
Swift is an interesting one. I'm glad you said something about Swift. I think it's at least worth a discussion here because
it's 7.5 mil.
Does that get you a running back though that replaces his production? Because this is a weaker draft class.
Does it get you 70% of the way to one?
Interesting. I guess that's an interesting thought process of it. Who would you? Okay, so I guess here's the question I have then for you, Q, because I look at Monangai more so as kind of the bulldozer, right? He's kind of the bowling ball. I don't really look at him as the speed guy. In my opinion, they would want to bring in more of a speedy running back to complement him if they do move on from Swift. I think Swift right now complements Monangai well, just flat out.
Yeah.
Who do you think, though, that's going to be available, whether it's free agency or the draft? I know the draft isn't as lucrative as last year's running back class, but there's still some really good names in that group. Who do you really think is going to provide the value for the right dollar per value as well to replace him? Because, I think Travis Etienne's going to cost more. I think Kenneth Walker might cost more. Tyler Algier, to me, is not really – I think he's kind of the same player as Monangai.
Yeah, I think that he's a more durable version or a bigger version. So it just makes me think he's gonna hold up to the rigors of it better. Okay. But truly, I mean, if you're making this move, I think you're going after Breece Hall.
And then what happens if he gets franchise tagged? Because there's a lot of rumors out there right now that the Jets might franchise tag Breece Hall.
Then you probably don't cut DeAndre Swift.
Okay, so you think it's entirely indicative on if Breece Hall is available or not.
That's either that or they love Jadarian Price or something.
I love Jadarian Price.
I know you love Jadarian Price.
I love Jadarian Price.
But for the sake of this, let's assume they go and get Breece Hall, and we can walk this back in a bit if it starts to be restricted. That's part of this exercise, right? It's figuring out what works, what doesn't.
Absolutely.
I think Roshan might be gone, but again, we're not talking about much relief there, so there's not much benefit to doing it at this point.
Agreed.
A tight end, I'm going to convert Cole Kmet's salary.
Yeah, I think Cole Kmet gets extended. I really do.
Yeah,
I think they extend it and just kick that cap hit across the length of the contract.
I do have a nice link in here for anyone using it saying, if you want to do something like that, go over to Over the Cap, which is linked right here. And let's see. I can go into Cole Kmet's salary. And I can say, what do I want to do? I want to extend or renegotiate. And I'm not sure actually how. So if I hit submit, then I have to say that I'm going to put a void year on it.
Okay.
And I'm going to add another year to his contract at a base of, I don't know. I don't even know if it matters. Let's say 6 million. And I think that should just extend the bonus out. So yeah, that puts him at 7 mil a year cap hit, which is definitely a lot more palatable than what it was at.
Oh, that's
8.8.
That's Swift.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oops. Than what it was at 11.6.
I agree.
So
I
for these
really
purposes, converting I think does the job. But
and the number's incredibly close. I mean, Overcap says just over 7 million. Yours says 7.2. I think.
Well, so that's the 7 million is just the restructure. So that's straight from over. The source is Over the Cap on what the number is in the spreadsheet.
No, that's completely fair.
Yeah. To extend or renegotiate, if you want to get more in the weeds with it, I'd suggest playing around with this because there's a million things you can do in here. But yeah, I would assume a restructure would probably actually lower his base salary in the process as well. But we don't need to get in the weeds of all that right now. We just know we're saving about $4.5 million by extending him out. And then in the comments there that Ryan here would keep Swift and draft a stud in 27. I don't think that that's a bad choice either. I want to explore just how aggressive we can get with this thing.
Absolutely. And I think echoing Ryan here, I think there's a lot of Bears fans that would agree that they would not be upset that if Breece Hall was the name that the Bears decided to bring in.
Now, Ron, are we trading DJ Moore? Now, this is fully understanding his market is like a 5th or 4th round pick.
Yeah.
He's a 29-year-old receiver with a big cap hit whose production has declined each of the last 3 seasons or 2 seasons.
I want to let you go first, Q, because I have a stance on this, but I'm really intrigued to know where you're at, because I think that will dictate how I approach my stance.
If I'm getting aggressive this offseason, if I'm going to go try to get a Max Crosby, I need to trade DJ Moore. I can't do this with it. I mean, I guess I could restructure him, but I don't know that I really love the idea of restructuring a 29-year-old receiver whose production has declined each of the last 2 seasons.
Sure. No, and I think that's a very fair point. And I think I guess that's the, because you know what? I probably am in the minority of this. Like, I think it's worth keeping DJ Moore in this fold. I really do, because once you look at the rest of the receiving room, then sure, yes, you can bring in a veteran receiver and things like that, but like, he's the only vet receiver this team has. I know Maurice Alexander's the same age, but like, let's be honest, Maurice Alexander has barely played football.
Right.
Like, the rest of this receiver room is a bunch of 1st and 2nd year kids. And then it's DJ. Like, DJ's kind of like the older brother to all these guys in that room. And there is no Keenan Allen walking through the door necessarily, or, this year's receiver room is like, there's not that guy that's, I think, going to come in and be that mentor to these guys in that room. And I'll tell you what, Gabe Ramirez, guest co-anchored on The Score, new 104.3 The Score, if you're in the FN market here in the Chicago, which is still tripping me out. But
no longer oldies.
No, well, they're still on AM radio, but they're still 670 on AM, but now they're also 104.3 on FM.
Well, it wasn't 104.3, it was oldies 104.3.
Oh, I think you're right. I think it was. Yeah. That station, unfortunately, has come and gone.
Has that been gone for a while? I haven't lived in Chicago in a while. So when I was a kid, I knew that station like every time.
I think it's changed a couple different hands over the course. But he brought up a great point though. He said, Rome Odunze just missed more games this season than DJ Moore's missed his entire tenure as a Chicago Bear. He's available. And he was able to put up with the Ben Johnson offense, right? Like, we saw Luther Burden get dinged up. We saw Rome Odunze get dinged up. We saw a lot of these other receivers get dinged up. DJ Moore played every freaking game this year. And sometimes availability is your best ability. I know he's expensive, and like, it kind of is what it is. The only way I'm moving DJ Moore is in the event that you can get a Max Crosby. But I think there's other ways to replicate what Max Crosby brings you. I think Trey Hendrickson is an example. I think Bradley Chubb being released is a fascinating name that the Bears could consider as well. But I think DJ Moore, to your point, if he's only going to net you a 5th round pick, and you're going to have to keep some of that money anyway, because anything that's guaranteed still stays on your books. So it's not like trading him just completely clears you of all his money.
Yeah. You keep about 12 million of it.
Is it worth it? I don't know. I really don't know.
So here's my previous decisions have botched this, and it needs to be fixed somewhere in my mind, because you cannot, in my mind, you cannot pay a 3rd wide receiver, which is DJ Moore at this point,
sure,
that much money if you're going to keep Cole Kmet. You cannot pay Cole Kmet $8-9 million a year if you're going to keep DJ Moore.
I think that's a fascinating stance on it that I haven't considered, but I think you're right. I think that's the killer is, I mean, you're still going to have a pretty sizable cap hit on the books, and Max Crosby's what, $30 million? Obviously, there's some money that would stay with the Raiders if this transaction happens.
So, Ron, I'm glad you mentioned that, because this year I added in some trade candidates and what their contract would look like under a trade scenario, and you're talking $30 million for Max, coming with you, and you might do some work with that contract once you get him, but but his contract isn't that reworkable. Like
No.
it's like you can push the can down, kick the can down the road, and you're probably going to have to, but like it's not going to be pretty at the end of it.
And that's where I ask you, because you have his name up here. Like, does signing Bradley Chubb potentially? And here's the thing: if you're the Bears and you say, you know what, we can get Bradley Chubb, but we also could go out and trade for a Dexter Lawrence because the Giants are willing to part with him for far less than what the Raiders want for Crosby. I would almost rather go get those two and then move DJ Moore for whatever you can get him for than the hypothetical trades that we're seeing, right? Where it's pretty much DJ for Max Crosby straight up, and you still have an interior defensive line problem you need to address because Grady Jarrett just ain't doing it. He's doing a lot of good things, but not what his contract is worth.
I think Dexter Lawrence is going to be more expensive than Max Crosby.
Okay.
Trade-wise. I think he's going to cost more capital. I don't think that there's as much motivation to move him. And I don't think that it's at the same point. And I just think he's a more difficult football player to find than Max Crosby.
I agree. And that's why I think if so this is a game of ifs, right? If all things are the same, I would rather pay whatever the same price is for a Dexter Lawrence over Max Crosby. To your point, for that exact reason, Q, it's harder to find a disruptive interior player than it is to find a disruptive exterior player.
For the sake of doing this, though, let's not do Max Crosby. Everyone's going to do Max Crosby. Let's take a different approach.
Let's do it.
There's a guy who I was tweeting a little about yesterday by the name of Keanu Benton, who I think might be able to be had.
You and Mr. Letizia, I saw you guys going back and forth about Mr. Keanu Benton.
Now, Benton's contract, if you traded for it, is probably you're taking on. I mean, it's
pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, you're taking on like 1.75 million.
Cool.
It might cost you like a third-round pick, but and it might cost you more than that. You know, I don't know if the Steelers are actually trying to trade him or not. There's a whole new defense there. There's been questions about how he fits in what they're doing. They just took Derek Harmon last year. They still have Casey Hayward. That Yaya Black played some good nose tackle for them last year. So let's say we trade DJ for a fifth, right? Let's say we send him to Tennessee, maybe.
I was gonna say the Raiders.
I don't think the Raiders even want him. If I'm being honest.
Don't think they do either. I agree with you. That's why when everybody's like, just trade DJ to the Raiders, I'm like, what if they don't want him? Then you're still giving up a shit ton for Max Crosby, and that doesn't help you.
Let's see. So where are the Titans? Where's their 5th round pick? Let's just guess it. Let's just say it's like 150. That sound about right?
For a 5th rounder?
Yeah,
because you're gonna have 3rd round comp picks.
Yeah.
I would say do 145 because pick 100
145
is the first pick of the 4th round.
Okay. So we're gonna add pick 145. Just guessing roughly. Yeah. We'll figure it out once we open the PFF simulator and adjust it. But so for DJ, and let's say we're sending pick 89 to the Steelers and getting Keanu Benton. And when you do a trade like this, you can just write it in here.
I distinctly recall Q during our draft cycle. Keanu Benton was a hot name amongst those within OnTap Sportsnet and within Building the Board.
I was a big fan.
Yes, you were. I distinctly remember. And I liked Keanu Benton too. I mean, there's something about a Big Ten defensive lineman that just gets you going too.
Yeah. And so now we're sitting here going, and maybe we had to throw in like a 2027 pick, a sweetener or something, but like we're not going to factor that in on this.
2027 7th. Cool.
Yeah. So now we're sitting here going into free agency. We got 35 mil to play with, right? Or no?
Well, have we done everything that we can do? Like, have we restructured potentially like Jonah Jackson and Joe Tooney? Are we going to restructure said players?
It would be my preference to avoid restructuring anyone because it's hard for me to say that that's a good idea with the age of a lot of these guys.
But you think even if we added void years though, when we know the cap is increasing at like borderline a legitimate all-time high? I'm just playing devil's advocate here, truthfully. And I'm asking all the questions that everybody in the comments is going to ask.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
So the salary cap is increasing at an incredible pace, right?
Yeah.
Do void years kill you potentially in a restructuring for maybe even just one of those guys? Maybe it's
let's see who our candidates are, right? It's Tooney, it's Dahlman.
Now what about Dahlman? Because of him being a little bit of a younger player.
Yeah, 28. Like at the same time, he's had some injury history in his career. You know, I don't know that I want to commit that long-term money to him. If Jalen Johnson had been healthy, he'd be a prime candidate, but he hadn't been.
Sure.
Same with like Kyler Gordon, be a prime candidate, but he hasn't been healthy. Montez Sweat is 30. If I'm going to do it for anyone, honestly, it's probably Montez because he's never really dealt with many injuries and he plays a brand that should age well.
Okay. What does that look like for Montez if we were to restructure his deal? Like, what is it for you? Is it even worth it?
9.9 million.
Is that worth it in your eyes?
Probably not. Like, I mean, you're not adding a void year or anything, though. Like, it's just you're making it so his final year of his contract is going to be pricey.
Sure.
While
you're doing some research there, Q. Ryan Poles finds himself into this tough spot, having to choose between DJ Moore and or Kmet because of bad contracts on defense. As Alop follows up with, he says the Dio contract is disgusting, and notorious TBG says bear down to you as well, sir.
So you're gonna add, like, if you restructure him, you're gonna add like 10 mil to his cap hit for next year. So he'll be 35 mil next year instead of 25 mil. Now, if you do that with an extension, maybe you can play with that some, but I don't know if I like that. And then I
don't like extending a 30-year-old player.
I don't want to do it with Jonah because of the injury hit. Like, a year ago we were saying we don't know if this guy can stay healthy.
Sure.
Tooney's the only other guy I consider, but at 34, that's he just got an extension last year,
Right. You already kind of did that. You did your cap gymnastics with those guys already by extending them.
Let's see what Tooney's contract looks like, though. So next year he's at 21.5. You restructure him, so he's gonna be at 29 mil next year if you restructure him, like just converting his base to bonus. It's Sweat. Sweat's the only guy who I'm really considering doing it for.
Yeah, and I agree with you, though. I don't even think it's necessarily worth doing. So
let's try to get away without it and see where we land, and then we have it in our back pocket if we need it.
No, I agree. Again, just out here playing devil's advocate because I think you see so many people trying to play like off-season GM and restructure the shit out of everybody, not understanding like what it does on the back end of these contracts.
Right.
Everybody just goes, well, it just creates cap space. Yeah, well, this year it does.
Just write it off, Ron. Just write it off.
Yeah, it's not like writing shit off on your taxes, man. Like, it has to go somewhere.
That's my favorite term. Just write it off. So that means you don't spend the money? Like, no, just write it off.
God, could you imagine if you could just write off NFL contracts? The cap wouldn't exist.
One thing that I do think could be interesting.
Extending Darnell Wright.
An early extension for Darnell Wright. I'm not sure that you can really get his cap hit that much lower by doing it, but I think it's worth exploring. We're not going to explore it here, but I think it's worth the Bears exploring or getting ahead of that before the salary cap booms is probably a good idea.
Agreed.
Now, Ron, let's see here. So we got
some needs.
Yeah. So we're good at one center, but we only need one center. We have this ticker here that tells you stuff in red is like, okay, you probably need to address something here.
Yeah, Luke Newman could probably play center in a pinch if he really wanted him to. So
we have literally only one safety on the roster.
Yikes.
We have a ton of linebackers, but not many linebackers who are worth having.
What a great problem to have.
And a decent amount of edge rushers here. Again, they
none
can be
of which
upgraded.
that are worth having.
Now, let's talk free agents. So at edge, like we want another edge, right? Like because right now we've got Sweat, we got Booker, We've probably Shamar Turner in there,
probably,
and then that's really about it because I'm not relying on Jeremiah Martin, Jamry Cromer, or Jonathan Garvin to be much. So we figure we need a free agent edge rusher. Let's see what we got, what our options are. And so Trey Hendrickson, right up at the top. Odafe Owe is another candidate here. Kwity Paye. I don't think Jalen Phillips is a great scheme fit. I think Boye Mafe is a really strong scheme fit, though. I think Khalil Mack is up there in age, but he's a guy who, like Dennis Allen, loves what he brings.
Yeah.
Where's your head going, Ron?
Man, I'll tell you what. I think if the Bears aren't able to free up enough cap space to potentially take a swing at like a Trey Hendrickson, I really think a 1-year deal for Khalil Mack is not a bad play.
Yeah. Now, actually, before anything, let's just get Kevin Byard signed.
Not even going to waste time.
Yeah.
Is that a 2-year deal for Byard, do you believe?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I have that in here as 2 years, $8 million a year.
I think
which is right about where it's barely an increase from what he was making previously.
I think that's a perfect number, and I think if Byard's pretty much said he'd like to stay, and it sounds like if you give him that number, he's taking it. So love it.
Yeah. Okay. Now, personally, I think Hendrickson is a tough sell for a guy who doesn't really excel against the run at all. Like, he was only ever a part-time player for Dennis Allen. I don't think he ever played more than 500 snaps in a season for Dennis Allen. Like, there's a reason the Saints let him walk outside his salary cap, I believe. Sure. I think the Colts, for example, might value him higher than the Bears do.
I could see that.
I think a guy like Odafe Owe makes a ton of sense for the Bears. I'm leaning towards a Owe or Mafe, and Khalil Mack is definitely in the running here as well. If I'm drafting, if I'm picking up Khalil Mack, I need to use a decent draft pick on an edge rusher. Is where my head's at. If I'm signing Owe, I feel like my edge room is pretty set.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, I think this group of players a lot better than I do, admittedly, Q. So I'm going to trust your judgment here. I think you're leaning Odafe Owe.
I am.
I would say let's pull the trigger and let's.
I really want Mack to get a 5th year with the Bears. So the Bears are the team that he spent the most time with.
So when he goes into the hall,
yeah, I really want that. But like, Max started to show, like, if you look at some of his grades and production, it did decline some last year, which at 35, I'm not sure that's the time you want to start paying a guy.
Definitely, especially at the year 1 cap hit that he's looking to get, which right now is at $14 million.
Yeah.
If it was $8 million, maybe $9 million bucks, sure. A 1-year deal for $9 million. There's no such thing as a bad 1-year deal in my eyes, Q.
Yeah.
But when you're getting to that $14 million, like you said, for a 35-year-old, I would rather just bite the bullet and sign the extra couple seasons for a guy like Owe.
Okay, so let's go ahead and plug Odafe Owe in here. And we are running tight on cap already.
Because we need $10 million? 10 million for draft picks.
Yeah, roughly 10 mil. Okay, so this gets real tight because now it's like,
so we still don't have a running back.
No, we don't. Okay, I think we have to restructure Montez. Let's go ahead and convert that salary. Gets us another 10 mil. Let's grab that running back. Let's grab Breece Hall.
Still running really tight on the cap, Q.
Now, let's do some cleanup.
Sure.
Let's just take some guys out of the equation who we don't think are going to make the roster.
Agreed. Because
this isn't your top 51 that we're looking at. It's just the total.
Yes. I agree. Because let's be real. Like, even though it's only $1 million here and $1 million there, those millions are going to add up.
Yeah. Now, let's see. I don't think Dominique Hampton's going to be here.
No.
Nefi Sewell, I assume, might be gone. Now, Amen. I think Amen deserves to be kept around at a little over like $2.5 million a year, or do we shave off that $2 million? He's a key special teamer.
He is a key special teamer, but I think what like DeMarco Jackson brought you and playing over him.
Yeah.
I would, if we're going to keep a key special teamer, I'd rather keep Josh Blackwell because I think he's more valuable.
Yeah, I don't think Josh Blackwell's going anywhere. No. Okay, so let's take Amen out of the picture. I don't think we're going to be doing anything at the tackle position.
You're not going to cut Karan?
Let's trade Tyson to
the Cardinals.
Yeah, to the Cardinals for pick
100. Get that 4th round pick, baby. The first pick of the 4th round.
Save us a couple mil against the cap. Save us, almost $4 million. Beautiful.
We need a backup quarterback, though.
Yeah, we do. Deion Hankins is gone. Britton Brown gone. Javarius Owens. Now we had no safeties except for Byard again.
Zoinks.
Get a few of these tight ends out of the picture. And let's say like JP Richardson and Maurice Alexander are out of here. So we need some receivers too, because we're down to only 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, 31 mil. Big difference.
Now we're cooking with gasoline.
Yeah. So we need, let's see.
What kind of depth receivers are available?
Let's have a look.
Because, Q, there's a name on the market that you and I discussed before. The Dolphins just let him walk. Nick Westbrook-Ekine.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, we're not talking Tyreek Hill.
No, God, no.
Actually, so Westbrook, he's not even in here because he wasn't a free agent yet when I put this out.
Okay. Because he's a name that I know we've talked about on here before as like, he's a very willing blocker. He's a big body. Like, that's the type of guy you could see them, especially if they part with DJ Moore, like as a third receiver to come in and be a good vet and block and you maybe get a couple catches. He really strikes me as a guy that could do that kind of role.
A guy I like who doesn't seem to like, I think that he's getting undervalued, but like I couldn't find anything saying otherwise, is Jalen Tolbert.
Okay.
Like, I think that he's a good football player. He's 6'2", he can fill that X role for you. Sure. And I just think he's a quality football player. That's a guy I'm definitely interested in.
Okay. What about the Tutu Atwell?
I just think Ben wants a big guy with speed. I don't think he wants a little guy.
I don't think he does either.
Yeah,
I'd say let's pull the trigger. There's not a lot of other names that give me a whole lot.
Let's get Jalen Tolbert.
A lot of excitement.
And that again, that might be an undervalue. I'm not really sure. I couldn't find any good like information that said otherwise. Okay, so let's get back to this. Let's sign a backup QB.
Yes.
Because we know we'll need that.
That is a must.
Should we bring Mitch home?
No. I knew you were going to say that too. Don't. We can't do it. We can't start a shitstorm.
Oh, you know what? You know who we should sign?
Clayton
Tyrod.
Ooh. Tyrod.
I think Tyrod makes a ton of sense.
Really?
I just think he brings the vet voice, a lot of experience that you're looking for, and a guy who can step in and has won games in this league.
Yeah, that's fair. I will say, I mean, that would be the most proven backup I think the Bears have had since. Obviously, I think Bagent is obviously been a quality backup, but if we're talking outside of Tyson Bagent, since probably what, Chase Daniel? If we're talking quality, a veteran that's like actually done it.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
probably up there. I mean, unless you consider Nick Foles the backup at any point. Like,
yeah.
bringing back bad memories over here.
Yeah, there's
all right.
Some really
let's
bad.
Let's see how this is filling in.
And are we just going to naturally assume here that Case Keenum's going to come back as the third QB for like pennies on the dollar?
I guess so. I mean, I feel like there's some, like, we haven't really heard much about that. I'm kind of wondering if he might just retire. Not sure, though, because he's also close to a ring. So, like, maybe he will just definitely be back on that.
On, like, the vet minimum, like, whatever.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm having a little error in here. So, give me one moment. C31.
Everybody gets
just while I code in here, everyone gets to see how the sausage is made.
See how the sausage is made.
There we go.
Bang.
All right. Now we got Tyrod Taylor in there.
Nice.
And we got Breece Hall as a running back 1, Kyle Monangai running back 2.
That looks nice.
Call Burden the 1.
Damn right.
Rome the 2.
Jade the 3.
Yeah,
Jade.
Yeah,
call Jade the 3, and Tolbert's your backup.
And we still got gaps there, though.
Yeah.
Loveland is our top tight end. Cole Kmet's our number 2.
True.
We have a hole at left tackle still, because we know that Ozzy's going to miss the start of the year.
Yep.
Left guard, we got Tooney. Center, we got Dahlman. Right guard, Jackson. Right tackle, Darnell. Behind, we got Luke Newman. We should probably bring back who was it that started in the playoff game? The right guard?
Oh, McFadden.
Yeah. We should probably bring McFadden back just because they liked him enough to let him start. So
yeah, and he's not going to cost much.
Yeah.
1.5 is stomachable.
So we'll put Jordan McFadden in there. We'll assume that Theo's the backup left tackle and probably backup right tackle, realistically. Interior, got Keanu Benton. Got Javon Dexter. That's a lot of beef up there.
Beef.
We got Grady Jarrett, but we still need a 4th.
Yep.
We're going to kick Austin Booker back to the 2nd string.
Yep.
We're going to put Odafe Owe in starting. Linebacker. We need linebackers. We can assume for now that TJ is going to start in there.
TJ's going to start.
Jalen Johnson's going to be starting at corner. Tyree Stevenson is a tentative starter there. I don't have a ton of faith that he's going to stay a starter just based on how his snap counts came through last year. I'm just not really sold that he that this coaching staff is that sold on him. And then at strong safety, we need someone still. We got Kevin Byard at free safety, and we need some depth safeties too.
Yep. And we still have some corners too that you could fill in too. You've got Terrell Smith. Or you
I put Terrell Smith in there.
Still got Blackwell though.
Yeah. Does Blackwell play nickel? Do you remember?
Yeah, Blackwell I think is a nickel.
Okay.
And then you got Zoff Frazier. So Zoff Frazier is probably your next corner.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think our cornerback room is largely fine.
We still need a long snapper. And bring Scott Daly back.
I'm good with it.
Oh, we can.
Oh, cut
Luke Elkin. Yeah.
We can save another $885,000.
Yeah, it all counts.
That it does. That it does, as we just showed.
All right, so Linebacker.
Yeah.
I've got a guy.
You got a guy.
I've got a guy.
Talk to me.
So Leo Chenal feels like he is made for Dennis Allen's defense to me.
That is a fascinating name.
He is just a brick house. He's going to come downhill against the run. What he does in coverage, it'll be whatever. But like Leo Chenal is going to be an animal against the run and in the trenches. And I feel like that's something that Dennis Allen values. And he can minimize the amount of coverage that the guy actually needs to do. Like we saw him do with Tremaine Edmonds and TJ some last year. You just can't do it with both guys. So now you're like, can we really have TJ there? I think that's where we're going to need to attack it in the draft. But
I agree. I think we needed to attack that like coverage linebacker spot anyway.
Now, Ron, I think we need to go to the draft at this point because
I agree. I don't think we're
at 17 mil. We need somewhere between 5 and 10 mil entering the season of just available cap space for maneuvering. So I think we're at about our limit here.
I agree. I think it's time to hit the draft.
Then let's go ahead and get into that PFF mock draft. Bears doing 7 rounds.
Oh, we got to make trades, Q.
Yeah. So
got to make some trades here.
Let's see. So we traded DJ Moore to the Titans.
Yep. We're saying for a 5th rounder.
Yeah. Oh boy, how is this?
Number 4.
Ah,
there you go.
So that's like 140.
Okay.
142.
Yeah. We said 145, so we were really not far off.
For wide receiver, DJ Moore. Offer trade. Done. Okay, let's just make this 142 to be Johnny on the spot.
Yeah.
And then
Tyson Page into the Cardinals.
Yes. Arizona Cardinals for 104.
Wow, I thought it'd be 100, but 104 is fine. Well, that should still be the first pick in the first round, or in that round.
Let's just force the trade because it's out there.
Yeah, it's out there.
Okay.
So 104.
And you only really need to adjust these ones for salary cap purposes. They're minuscule differences between like 145 and 142 and such.
Yeah, it's like 20. It's like $25.
Oh yeah, and then with the Steelers.
Yes, Keanu Benton. We sent them, yeah.
Keanu Benton, and we sent them number 89.
Do we want to send a next year's pick too, or nah?
This says it's going to accept easily, so let's just roll with it.
All right, let's do it. Now we're all set.
Okay. And looking at our depth chart, left tackle, strong safety, all safety, any safety.
Yeah, linebacker.
D tackle and linebacker.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's start this thing up.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Pay 25.
So, I mean, I think we gotta be strategic here because we need a starting safety.
Yes, we
still
do.
Need a starting left tackle and a starting linebacker. I feel like we can get the linebacker in the second round or the safety.
I think we can definitely get the linebacker for sure. A name I love at safety, Q, I think if you scroll a little further, he should be on the board. And there he is. I like Emmanuel McNeil-Warren.
So I just watched some of him today, and he's an animal of a tackler and against the run. I do not know if he feels at all comfortable playing backwards and in his pedal. That was just my take on it. I didn't feel like he was very comfortable in space, which makes me wonder how much of a fit whether he just ends up being Jaquan Brisker again in this scheme where it's like we don't really know how to use him because he's best in the box and we don't want him always in the box.
Right.
That was just my read on it though, because he's an animal, no doubt.
Yeah, he flies around, man. He's a fun draft prospect. I don't know if I mean, I also really like Anthony Hill Jr. out of Texas. I know it's technically kind of an overdraft, but we're going for value at the linebacking spot. I mean, I know there's, you've also got the kid from Georgia.
What, CJ Allen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so here's my dilemma. I will take Jacob Rodriguez at 57. I don't care what this says.
I know you will.
And I am a Texas Tech Red Raider through and through, and I am extremely biased. So I'm like sitting there going, man, I can get him at 57. I know I can get him at 57.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
But I'm not sure. I think Dennis Allen's going to like him a lot, but I haven't watched enough CJ Allen, or I haven't watched any CJ Allen yet to really know whether he's going to love that guy, or Anthony Hill. I'm pretty darn confident he's going to love Kristen Miller.
I agree.
And I'm also pretty confident that Ben Johnson is going to have his heartstrings pulling at him when Monroe Freeling's on the board at 25 if he's there.
Yeah. Because this is what I wonder with Miller, though, is especially in our situation right now, right? We just traded fairly significant draft capital for Keanu Benton.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. I think if we hadn't made that trade, we wouldn't even be having this discussion. I think Miller would have been the pick.
Yeah.
Without question, because they need interior. And you know what? Even with Keanu Benton, I think that still would have been in play.
Yeah.
I just beg the question of, do we potentially reach for a linebacker or a safety that potentially fills a need, or do we go kind of quote unquote best player available here and say screw it and just take Miller and beef up that interior D line and say, you know what, maybe DeMarco Jackson can do the job for a season.
Man, I think, let's see,
because we didn't re-sign DeMarco.
We should.
I think for depth reasons alone, we should. I really do. And
he won't cost much.
No, he won't cost much at all. And I also think too, I just don't know how much in terms of confidence I can say that Noah Sewell's not cut.
Yeah.
If I'm being completely honest, I'm not even sure. Because I think Hypolite is kind of a waste too.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I think Sewell makes. I think Dennis Allen likes Sewell's because he's had 3 of them on his rosters historically.
Yeah.
So I think that he's going to stick around, and he did play a decent amount of special teams last year. I think Hippolyte's going to be here just as a special teamer. But honestly, I'm Jackson and Chenal. I'm kind of okay with that.
I'm okay with that, especially if we want to sit back and just say, hey, maybe we take a flyer on a linebacker late and just see what's there.
Okay. Then
I wouldn't be against still taking Christian Miller though and just beefing up that interior, because that you figure your 4 rotation is him, Jarrett, Benton, and Dexter. I mean that
makes this pretty nasty. That combo starts to get pretty nasty if you add a Christian Miller in there.
I agree.
Or, I mean, I guess Benton is enough of a just big body that you feel like you have your nose, but because also that, I mean, if they still need a nose, then I mean, I guess you're waiting on that too. It looks like, Caden McDonald and Lee Hunter both went right before the Bears, so those are the 2 guys I was wondering about. So, I think we go Christian Miller here.
Let's do it. It's a shame Lee Hunter just won a few picks before.
Yeah. Okay. So now he's pick 25.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go ahead and input this over here. So pick 25 was a defensive lineman. We're going to type this in. Christian Miller. Boom. It's right there.
Okay.
Now, and the other thing I was wondering with that is, I don't think Dennis Allen ever drafted linebacker that high. Now, some of that might have been, he had DeMario Davis, and he's like, I have DeMario Davis. I can figure out the other spot.
I have an all-time great at linebacker. Yeah, I mean, Jalen Ford was a 5th round pick.
Yeah, like I mean, offensive tackle in the first round, defensive tackle, wide receiver, defensive end,
yeah,
center. Well, I guess that
well,
was
Ruiz ended up playing guard too.
right,
So
but defensive end,
yeah,
corner. It's really D tackle or D line and corner is where we've seen him spend his early picks when he
How
has
about
had
that?
the chance.
How about that 2017 third round for the Saints? Kamara, Anzalone, and Hendrickson.
Yeah,
Woo!
yeah.
What a third
And
round.
Al Khadim Muhammad just had like 10 sacks this year.
Yeah, Bears legend.
Bears legend. All right, so now we need a safety.
Yeah,
and I don't think we can. There's anything we can play around with here. We need a safety.
I agree.
If there's anyone in the comments who has a thought here, I have not watched many safeties, so feel free to shout them out in there if you got any. But so I think that was Kristen Miller, right?
Yeah. This was just reiterating that. I think Alap, Kanger, Ryan are all hanging around. If you guys got a safety that you like here, Q, from the little bit that I know about some of these guys, I have seen Kamari Ramsey's name thrown around a little bit.
Yeah,
as somebody that could be an interesting name. I mean, I'm right with you. I really haven't watched a ton of safety film yet either. I feel like I probably should. I know a lot of people will probably also beat the drum for Stroman, the kid from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
But I feel like
you don't have to sell me too hard on a Notre Dame defensive back because I think their head coach does an outstanding job coaching them up.
And I think he's a guy that we could wait on if we really wanted to go that direction.
But we need a starter. Like we need a starter.
And I don't think there's shame in taking two safeties in this draft, especially with the amount of like 4th and 5th round picks that we now have.
I think we've boxed ourselves in the corner here. We need to take Ramsey.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm for it. And I checked the comments just to make sure if anybody was piping up in time, and we are rolling with it.
Thank you for paying attention to that. Okay. So now we have our starting strong safety, who I believe, I could be wrong, I believe Ramsey is more of a like coverage type, but like I think that actually works with what Dennis Allen wants to do.
Agreed.
And now, let's see. We're on the clock at pick 104. And how are we feeling? What do we think we should be targeting here?
I don't think depth safety is a bad play. I also don't think linebacker is a terrible play at this point either. Depth receiver could be interesting. I mean, I don't know if we're finding a starting left tackle at pick 104.
Yeah, I think if you're taking a tackle here, you're taking a guy who you're like, he can get us by. You're not taking a guy where you're like, this is our future. Like, it's like, we feel like we can duct tape this thing. And that's where Austin Barber gets interesting to me. Because I think Barber has a frame that can be supported at guard as well. So, like, he's a guy who could step in for Jonah Jackson if he goes down. And he has left and right experience. So I think that he can serve as that backup for Darnell Wright as well if Ozzy's back. I think Austin Barber's a strong fit here.
What do you think about JC Davis, just out of curiosity?
I have not gotten to JC Davis yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just
you could tell it's early in our draft process when there's I still haven't gotten to that name yet.
Yeah. It's like, I use two different sources. I use Steve Letizia's library tape, and I use Caddy's cut-ups.
Yep, I
prefer to use Caddy's cut-ups because they're cut up nice and short, and like I can get through them quicker. JC Davis there's not much of line tape on there. So I'm waiting to see if some more comes before I go into the full all 22 games to like, okay, now I need to get with the O-line cut-ups. Caddy, you get every play, but it's only end zone view. So I'm not fast forward through the sideline view of every play.
Right.
But anyways, side tangent off. I think Austin Barber here.
I'm for it. I think we need to address the position somehow, some way. And if he's a guy you believe in, and there's futuristic looking value that if either Ozzie Trapillo comes back and is close to himself, or if Ozzie Capello's injury just beats him up and he's no more than a replacement player for the rest of his career, the Bears can attack left tackle then next season. And then Barber still gives you adequate depth to keep around on the offensive line, likely in place of a guy like Karan Amagaji when it's all said and done.
Okay. Let's go ahead and take Barber there then. And let's see, that was pick 104, right?
Yep. And Alop was in agreement with us here, Q. Left tackle.
There we go.
Make the move, make the play. Let's go get a guy. Let's go get a guy. And that might have been in response to the safety pick, but neither here nor there. We got our guy.
Yeah. Okay, now
shit gets fun.
Yeah. And this is where it gets like really interesting because these are a lot of guys who I haven't looked that closely at. I know we both like Michael Taffy.
Yes, we both do like Michael Taffy.
You want to just pull the trigger on that?
I say fuck it. I mean, we clearly need safeties, and I don't think 2 rookie safeties is a bad thing, especially in a room with a guy who's a multi-time All-Pro and Pro Bowler and Kevin Byard. So,
yeah, okay, let's do it. So that was pick 129. I'm just going to put it in as kicker because I only have one slot there. I think that's how you spelled it.
I think you're correct.
Okay.
Shout out to my buddy Kyle K. He's a big Texas Longhorns fan, so I know he'll like that pick as well.
Just the worst people, Ron.
Oh, I know. Oh, trust me. He gets a horns down from me at least once every time I see him, so don't you worry. I'm holding it up for you, Q.
Now, do we want to consider Jude Bowery's a guy I would have loved to take at left tackle in the 3rd round, but I don't think he's a day one guy who can jump in. That was my like I love Jude Bowery, but I think he needs more development, and I'm not sure that he's going to jump in week 1 when you need him.
That's the development, the project pick, not the day one pick.
Yeah. Now, Reggie Virgil's a guy who's interesting to me. This is depth wide receiver here.
Does it just so happen because he's a Red Raider too?
I mean, it's got something to do with it. But we're looking at a 6'3" guy with above average speed who blocks like hell.
Yep. And
that just screams Ben Johnson to me.
You took the words right out of my mouth. That does scream Ben Johnson to me as well.
Just as a consideration here, because we do prize still need a linebacker.
Yeah. And, a guy that I've started watching a little bit on, I'm only about a game into his film, but I think Aiden Fisher is an interesting name. He's not a sexy pick by any stretch of imagination, but he's just kind of a guy that just does his job, and he almost doesn't stand out on film in the same way that like a good offensive lineman doesn't, because he's just like, he does the right thing when he needs to, and he just doesn't make the flashy plays.
Let's pull the trigger on it. I mean, that sounds like a Dennis Allen linebacker to me. He always seems to make do with guys.
I agree. And I'm surprised that, I guess I'm not that surprised, especially considering the positional value of linebacker in the draft. But I think Aiden Fisher is a guy that as a day 3 pick, you can definitely do worse.
Yeah. Aiden Fisher it is. And he doesn't even need to go in the depth chart here because
he's fine.
Yeah.
And honestly, like if that's your 5, that I really like that linebacking room.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm pretty happy with that. Now the question becomes is TJ Edwards going to play special teams, but
probably not.
Yeah. Now keep going. And what else? We need a wide receiver depth, and we probably need another safety. I think we're going to need to sign another veteran safety. I don't want 3 rookies and Kevin Byard.
Fair.
Let's, while we're in between picks in the draft, let's
get on the phone.
Look at our options.
Let's get on the phone with the guy's agent and see what's going on.
Yeah. Let's see what guys we can consider here. And we're going to be talking the lower end of it. Like we're not looking to spend over like a couple million.
Agreed. Senior Garner Johnson for $2 million.
Let's just do that. He's familiar. He knows the defense.
Let's not even waste time, man. And especially too, because here's the thing: like in a perfect world, if Kyler Gordon's healthy, you can kind of have like a 2-man rotation of him and CJ kind of almost being like a hybrid safety of sorts.
Yeah, you can start
Right?
playing with who's doing what.
Yeah. Yes. You can have them both on the field, and effectively they could both be a safety and a nickel at the same time.
Yeah.
And I know Dennis Allen likes to do weird shit. And again, if he's only going to cost you $2 million, shit.
CJ, you are back as a Chicago Bear.
CJ, you are still a Chicago Bear.
Okay, so let's go ahead and kind of rearrange this. So CJ is there. And CJ might even start there.
Sure.
But I mean, we can just keep him there for now.
Yeah, and I think that's a great position to be in, though, if he's your third safety.
Yeah.
Now, that's great for depth.
We got a few more picks to make here. We got 3 more picks. We don't actually have, who else do we have at running back?
Roshan.
We got Roshan. Do we want to take a running back? We probably do, right?
I'm cool with taking a flyer at 163. Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, I don't think Mike Washington's going to be there at 163.
Hell no.
But
if he is, Ryan Poles better be running the fucking draft card up to the podium himself.
Yeah.
From Hallis Hall.
I think a guy like Terry and Stewart's a lot of fun. Just based on the highlights, I haven't been able to find any real tape of him. Whittington, I love.
I think Eli Heidenreich is a lot of fun.
Let's do it, Ron.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Do it. Let's have some fun with it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, he's I don't know. It's fun. It's different. Like, I know he's listed as a fullback because of how Navy plays, but like, even here's the thing. This is a pitch I have, and I'm gonna say it on here, and then I'm gonna encourage everybody to tune in on Friday, or whenever that show comes out that we're recording on Friday with our friends over at Bare Bones.
Yeah.
As we're talking a little bit of draft stuff. I've got a little bit of a crush with Heidenreich as well, because he's a guy, fullbacks in the historic double wing, triple option style offense have to be blockers and playmakers. Ben Johnson would love a guy he can move around as like a college H-back and give different looks with. Use him as a lead blocker out of the backfield, right? How many times did we see Durham Smythe in that role last year? This time you could actually have a guy who's probably a little bit better equipped to actually do that. Oh, and you can give him the rock sometimes and have some fun with that too. So I think it's a fascinating pick.
Yeah. Ron, in the 7th round, I mean, these guys probably aren't making the roster, but we need a wide receiver.
Sure do.
Probably need a return man. I think Squirrel White's a good return man.
For sake of the name alone, I'm in.
Yeah. I mean, I believe he's done
with
decent
with the name Squirrel, I'm for it. Truthfully.
So when I used to do in our draft guide, when I do like nicknames, I'd be like scouring the internet for guys' nicknames, and I'd be like, quote, guy from Tennessee's name, end quote, nickname, and it would just be a million articles about Squirrel White. Because it would have like that guy mentioned somewhere, and then it would be like, this guy's nickname is Squirrel.
Spectacular. I'm such a fan.
Yeah, he's returned punts, not as many kicks, but I mean, punts are the harder one to find anyways.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Especially because now with the new kickoff rules, in theory, you can put like a running back there as your return man, and those guys typically do pretty well.
Yeah. Pick 239, we're going with
Squirrel White. I'm so excited.
All right, and then last pick of the draft, Ron. Any thoughts? This is always a toss up.
So this was a name Q that I included in my mock draft, and he's right there. You can click on him because his numbers. Logan Fano is a big boy, and when I think Dennis Allen defensive ends, 6'5", 260 screams Dennis Allen defensive end to me.
Yeah,
even if he's just a depth guy. I think he's a really fascinating name, and he can put up some respectable numbers. Nothing incredible, but 5 sacks, 21 quarterback hurries in back-to-back seasons. He plays plenty of defensive snaps. He does both, right? Pass rush and run defense. And he's pretty balanced. And I feel like that's what we're used to seeing with the Dennis Allen defense, right? Is a balanced defensive end.
Yeah.
And I think he fits that as a 7th round value pick. I'm all for it.
Let's do it. Logan Fano with our last pick. And that was what, 241?
241.
All right. So let's see. That was what pick? 239. Oh, accidentally capitalized that.
Our backup QB, we went with Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
That one kind of flew under the radar, but triple JV 2788 says here, Sweat, Hunter, Dex, Trey. He's saying Trey Hendrickson and draft Lee Hunter. Lee Hunter was gone off the board when we went to draft.
Like 2 picks before
and
us.
We didn't have enough money for Trey. But shit, if those guys were available, I mean, that's an incredible looking defensive line if that's the case. So,
and we are a little over our spending. We probably want at least $5 million going into the year. So we will likely have to, let's see, and that's 53 guys in the rosters. Where do we have excess space? Like, where do we have linebackers where we're tied up on guys?
I mean, at this point, like, what happens if we cut Hypolite? Anything?
I mean, I just don't think TJ's here.
What's TJ a post 6'1"?
250,000.
Oh, that's the 250. Okay.
Yeah. I just can't imagine he's back because he's not playing special teams for you.
No,
unless he is. Like, I just would be shocked if he is.
I agree.
So that gets us a little tight, but I mean, ultimately, I think that's fine. Like, let's just cut Quran.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Just
so that we need to find a couple mil somewhere. They can, like, they'll figure something out to do it. Here's how we'll do it.
We'll backload
Leo Chenal's contract because he's only 26 years old.
I like that idea.
And we'll backload Breece Hall's contract because he's only 25 years old. Boom.
Love
back
it.
to 10.
Woo! The cap isn't real.
As long as you're responsible with it, it's not. Or actually, no, that's a lie. As long as you're willing to just spend buttloads of cash, it's not real.
Q, this was a fascinating name that I really thought long and hard about when we were in the 7th round there because he was on the board. Ryan says here in the comments, I'd like Cole Payton late to replace Bagent. Cole Payton, the left-handed quarterback from North Dakota State. I'm reading rumors, reports. Again, take them for what you believe in. There's people that believe Cole Payton might be the second quarterback off the board in this draft class. And like people of like somewhat respectable levels of like draft experts. So I just don't think he'd be there. But for sake of our example, he absolutely could have been there. And that was a name that I was truly thinking about, especially if he's like your third quarterback on the roster, assuming Case Keenum doesn't come back.
Yeah.
Greg Dortch.
I'm signing Greg Dortch. So we need another receiver, and we're putting him in the Dortcher chamber, brother. Sorry, but keep going about Cole Payton.
No, I think, I think that's a fascinating name. And Ryan said I don't think he's there. I don't think he is either. But it's a fascinating name. I think he's a name that's going to draw a lot of, and if he tests well, which I hate because I think I've told you this. You know my feelings about the combine. I fucking hate the combine.
Yeah.
Because if you can play ball on tape, you can play ball on tape. Like if you're a workout warrior, it doesn't mean you're a good football player.
Yeah, the combine's there to verify what you see on tape. Like
1,000%.
It's not there to decide who's good and who's not. It's there for me to go, or not me, but for scouts to go like, he is a lot slower than I thought he was, or he is a lot faster than I thought he was. And then they go back to the tape and be like, why?
Yeah, I agree. So, money policy news here says DJ Moore trade makes so much sense. Cole trade, Swift trade, more draft picks, add more money. He thinks DJ needs to be restructured. And you need to have a 30-year-old. Yeah, and that's exactly how we went through with it, right? Traded DJ Moore. Mm-hmm. We kept Cole Kmet around because, again, Ben Johnson's 12 personnel. I don't think he goes anywhere. And then we cut Swift rather than trading him just because I don't think he has any pick value to anybody if you trade him at his dollar value. So really the cap space is probably more than what he's worth. There's always money in the banana stand, as says here. I agree. There is always money in the banana stand. Minalop asks here, he says, remember when Jalen Carter had a really bad combine? I bet the Eagles are glad everyone overreacted to that. Yeah, 100%. Again, some guys just don't test well in shit like that. And some guys do test well. And to your point, Q, I think the sweet spot is I love this player. He balls out on tape. I'm just curious of what he, X, Y, and Z does well. And then when the combine numbers come back, you can be like, oh, okay, that makes total sense, right? And make more adjustments from there. But it's something to keep on either. Money Policy News says, I think you can get a 4th or a 5th for Swift. He has only 1 year left. I think that's exactly why you wouldn't get more than like a 6th or a 7th. And plus, this is a really good running back class in free agency this year. Travis Etienne's available. Breece Hall, who we signed here in our simulation. To just name a few, I think there's a lot of other really good names. Tyler Algier is going to get paid like a number 1 running back somewhere. I just don't think DeAndre Swift's going to have a ton of value in the trade market, and that's why I think it makes more sense if you're not going to keep him, just to cut.
Yeah, I'm torn. I feel like running backs just don't have much trade value in general, and
they're like all stars.
Yeah,
and even then, I can't remember the last time a running back got traded for significant draft capital. You're probably looking at like the 1990s was the last time that happened.
Yeah, something
right.
Like that.
The Ricky Williams trade, that's the last time I can think of like real draft capital being moved for a running back. I mean, Leonard Fournette was the 4th overall pick, and he got cut and ended up with Tampa.
Christian McCaffrey got traded for like 3 second-round picks.
Yeah, it was I don't even think it was 3 seconds. I think it was like a 2, a 3, and a 4. And he's the best running back in football. So, and he was under contract still too. I think that was the big key. I think he had at least 1 or 2 more years under deal. So, again, running back's just a weird position. But no, I mean, we traded DJ Moore. I think we got some good late round value, Q, especially at positions of need. It feels nice knowing that this year's draft is at positions the Bears are set at, the draft kind of weak, and then positions the Bears need, it's a little deeper. And so there's some good value picks, I think, that we were able to make today with, again, late picks overall, safety, linebacker, beefing up the edge room in that, capacity, so on and so forth.
If there's one spot that still gives me heartburn, it's left tackle.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. I think that's I know we really didn't talk a ton about it, and because we were looking ahead to the Rams game, and it was nice being able to talk about another playoff football game and rather not dwell on the last one. But
yeah,
Ozzie Trapillo's injury that might have been the biggest loss of the season for the Bears.
Yeah,
going into next year. Because he was finally starting to look like a starting caliber left tackle, especially amongst, Joe Thuney and all those guys on the offensive line. And just to watch him, it's not even like it was an LCL or an ACL even. A patellar tendon is nasty for O linemen. That's the worst possible injury he could have gotten.
Yeah.
And
I agree. How many times did I sit there on our O-line show saying, I don't think we'll really know what we have from him until year 2 when we see him, spend a whole offseason working on his burst to see if he can expand that range a little. Just a little. Because that's all he needed, but, that little bit made a big difference. And we won't know that next year now. Even if he makes a full comeback, we won't know that he can reach that different level.
Yeah, well said, Q. And, again, I think why, to your point when we were going through the draft, if there are some of these tackles there that Ben Johnson and company really like, whether it's in the first or even the second round, do they pull the trigger on one of those guys and potentially say, you know what, we'd rather have too many guys than not enough because we don't know what's going to happen with Ozzie Trapillo.
Ron, I think we got to sign Yosh Nijman.
Just for sake of the name?
No, just because I've never really understood why he never got much of a shot after looking good in Green Bay. He looked decent according to PFF in his limited snaps last year. I think he's going to be cheap, and it's just it's a guy you can bring to camp and get rid of him if it doesn't work out.
Yeah, because he's probably, to your point, he's coming probably on a 1-year deal anyway.
Yeah. Let's get Yosh Nijman in here. And
Yeah,
we're still
six and a
okay
half.
on the cap.
Yeah, 6.5
And
on the
then
cap.
pick 104 can be
The backup.
like if Austin Barber can't start, you're not stuck with Theo. Like,
yeah, I that makes me, I think, feel a lot better too. And honestly, at Q, I think we did a pretty fucking good job. I mean,
yeah,
I think linebacker.
Our defense grade is still below average, but I expect Jalen's grade to be better. I expect Kyler's grade to be better. And I don't really agree with these grades, but that's neither here nor there.
Sure. And I think too, I think we look around what we did, and it kind of shows that like the Bears really don't need to make a ton of sexy moves this offseason. It's just a lot of solid moves is what they really need to make. I like what we did here, Q. I think this is a team that's completely capable of winning a Super Bowl.
I like it a lot. And I think the only thing that was really could theoretically be a stretch is Keanu Benton. That's the only one where it's like, we don't know if that's doable or not. But like,
and
honestly,
even if it's,
I think this D line is pretty nasty at this point.
Yeah, and even let's say Keanu Benton isn't there. The Bears have a 3rd round pick. Maybe that 3rd round pick is used on a linebacker, or that's used on an offensive tackle or something, and then you do still get a Miller or somebody like that at pick 25. I think, maybe you just use a couple $1 million then to get a decent defensive tackle in free agency, and that changes that approach a little bit. But I think at the end of it, though, Q, I think what you were trying to accomplish in getting Keanu Benton, though, schematically and thematically, I don't know if thematically is the correct term, so forgive me, English majors. I think it fits, though, what the kind of the essence of what we expect the Bears to do to address the interior offense or the defensive line is. So I think it still kind of hits the nail on the head, even if it's not exactly there, to your point, because nobody knows what the hell Pittsburgh is going to do, because they are really in kind of a weird like transition year where they could do a lot of different shit if they really wanted to.
Well, they just have so many trench players.
Yeah.
Like, they just keep drafting these edges and D tackles, and like that's awesome. That's a great way to build, but they can't realistically pay them all.
Right.
And I don't think they're gonna part ways with Alex Highsmith. I don't think they're gonna tell Cam Hayward to get lost. I don't think that they're gonna trade away Derek Harmon, who they spent a 1st round pick on last year. And they don't need to get rid of Benton, but it's the last year of his contract and someone else is going to pay him next year. It makes sense for them to move on now.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly. And it gives the Bears a head start too, right? Like maybe they can sit back and somehow extend Benton if he does really well. And if it doesn't work out, then you let him walk because he's an impending free agent, and you utilize that cap space elsewhere and do something else with it. Yes, well, I know a lot.
He was born in Chicago.
Yeah, and we love that. And he was a Wisconsin guy, which, I mean, it's all from the Midwest. And yes, I know a lot. It wasn't just real draft capitals, the whole damn draft for Ricky Williams. All I recall. But that's my point. Like, again, just to kind of reiterate that point. So again, Q, I like what we did here. I really do. I think we put together a damn good little squad here for the Bears going into 2026.
I believe Keanu Benton is a Bears fan. He went to high school right across the Wisconsin border.
I love that.
I think he is. I think I remember that from his draft. I'm not like, it's not like a for sure fact, but I believe I remember that. But Ron, I know you got Cubs coming up here. Anything you want to say before we jump off the mic?
Q, it was great getting back on the microphone with you, first and foremost. Looking forward to the fun off-season content that we do have planned here. Obviously, you guys had a great show last week with our good friend Jacob Infante. If anybody hasn't listened to that yet already, go ahead and do so. And yeah, man, I'm just looking forward to all of our off-season content. I'm looking forward to the combine because it means that free agency is closer. And then once free agency comes and goes, we get to look forward to the draft. So, I just encourage everybody to continue watching along with Bears on Tap. We got a lot of good stuff. Of course, building the board is going to be a part of that as well. And lots of great content, man. The Bears train never stops at On Tap Sportsnet. And there's a lot of good things to come. And Q, I think we built a damn good football team here tonight as well.
I do too. I feel really good about this D-line room. I like, not like out of this world. They don't have a star, but like if you can't get a star, just get a bunch of guys who are going to beat people up. And like that's what I feel like we did here. We got a bunch of guys who are going to beat people up. So I think that's all I got. Ron, why don't we give a good old bear down before we get out of here?
Bear down, Q.
bear down.